So many of us are part of a fandom. We're a nerd for at least one thing, whether that be Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, a fantasy book series, Harry Potter, you name it. As an interior designer who is part of many of these fandoms, I find myself trying to find ways to incorporate the things that we love into our homes. After all, our home should be a reflection of who we are. If you are a big enough fan of a series, I'm sure you even have fan art, Legos, reproductions from series that you love. So today I hope to help you find creative ways to display your impressive collections in aesthetic ways. This is just my introduction into these ideas. I hope to delve into specific fandoms individually in my following videos. If there's a fandom that you would like to see me do in particular, please comment it below. I would really love to do a video all about it. Let's start out with a fandom that all of my favorite nerds belong to, Star Wars. If you love Star Wars, then chances are you have a lot of really cool memorabilia to show. The challenge here is finding a way to show your really cool things without it being too overwhelming. Listen, I'm all about letting your nerd flag fly, but if you have all of these special items and you shove it on one cubicle shelf, it's not going to have the impact that you want. Not that I'm against affordable shelving units and display units, I'm just trying to show you that you have lots of options to choose from. A mentor of mine once told me, you can have special things in a space, but you can't have everything be special in a space, because then those special items lose their impact. It'll be too overwhelming for you to really soak it in. With that in mind, my favorite design style that pairs really well with the Star Wars fandom is mid-century or mid-century modern. Why? Because even some of the sets in these films have mid-century design style in mind. If you are, say, a bachelor with a lot of really cool Star Wars memorabilia to show, this is something I really want you specifically to consider for your home. Of course, you don't have to be a bachelor to have a masculine space. I'm just saying there's ways to incorporate it that is very masculine and cool, and I can't wait to show you. Now you can use those IKEA white cubicles to display your collections, especially if you have collections of movies or books to display like they've done in this example. Just make sure it is oriented to have a lower profile like they have in this picture. That means it's not sitting up like the cubicle is tall, it's sitting the shorter way. This gives you a lot more of a mid-century and cool feel. Or you can use a mid-century wood look to display your collections, like in this example. It gives it a little bit more of a warm and inviting feeling. It's also a lot more of a rich feeling. I mean, imagine a space like this, displaying your Star Wars Lego pieces in each of the cubicles. The color pops against this wood. With the minimalism of the shapes that the mid-century design has, it really allows your memorabilia to stand out without it feeling thrown in or random. If you really love color in your space, you can also have colorful shelving like these, but I would always suggest balancing and anchoring this color with a wood tone somewhere just to keep it more adult and less childlike in feeling. I would also suggest, if you use a bold color, to use variations of that bold color in the room, like they have in this example, where they have this bright blue right next to an adjoining wall that has a darker version of that blue. It just really softens it and makes it less random feeling, and it very much balances the space a lot better. The next fandom is a huge fandom, Harry Potter, and it is beloved worldwide. Seriously, I currently live in Japan and people are obsessed about it even here. Design-wise, a lot of different aesthetics work with your Harry Potter collections, whether that be cottagecore, dark academia, light academia, I mean, so much more. But today I want to talk specifically about cottagecore and dark academia and how they pair really well with the Harry Potter collections you might have. Cottagecore really refers to laying colors, textiles, and textures in a cozy way. Often these spaces are a lot more feminine feeling and have many knickknacks, antiques, and art. It is considered by many as the next step in design after the farmhouse craze. Overall, it just really feels like you're in a cottage. You can have any amount of color in cottagecore designs. I would suggest adding some color to the space to go with your more colorful Harry Potter books. A fun, soft green or blue would pair really well with this style, and I would also suggest having a light wood accent somewhere, such as a shelf or even a really fun wallpaper. This wallpaper is one that I love for a Harry Potter styled room, and it comes from one of my favorite sites, Etsy. Dark Academia is a lot like this, but a little bit more Victorian in styling and a lot more spooky. Dark Academia is an exact play off of the magic in the wonderful world of Harry Potter. It is also more of a lifestyle and character trait than it is a trend for home decor. So if this speaks to you, it speaks to your heart. And you're also probably a lot cooler than the rest of us. The next fandom, Disney, is probably too broad of a term to use, so design styles that pair with this will definitely vary. I will start by saying that cottagecore will easily fit this fandom as well, but in the interest of showing you guys something new, I would like to talk about what I call bright Victorian. This is not a term that you'll see anywhere else. It's more of something that I'm going to show you today so you can understand it more. Something that I have in my noggin, if that makes sense. This has hints of fantasy with the decorative Victorian style pieces paired with brighter, fun pops of color that will pair really well with your youthful Disney spirit. This style will allow you to display your Disney art or merchandise that might be a little bit more princess themed. Those movies feature bright colors with fairy tale, Victorian, or even cottage settings. Because of that, I specifically love the idea of using bright floral setting wallpapers with this. It will make you feel like you are inside your favorite storybook or Disney tale. I absolutely love this example. The pink and the pops and the Victorian, I mean, it is seriously stepping into a storybook. If you love girly, bright vibes, but lean towards more modern and clean lines, I present to you what, again, I like to call colorful mid-century design. A lot of folks would also consider this Bauhaus design. These bright colors will pair with your saturated Disney decor, while rounded and simple lines will help to limit visual clutter. It also has some historical correlations as well. The Bauhaus movement sparked what we now know to be mid-century design, and it took place in the 1920s, which was the time when Disney began animation. If you like this design style, I would like to steer you into the direction of using wood in your space. As I suggested in our Star Wars section, while bright colors are fun, you will need at least one wood tone to help anchor your space. I also suggest doors. While you see a lot of open shelving with the design, and that is the point, to be showing your memorabilia, I don't want you to overdo it with visual clutter. Showing all of your Disney stuffed animals or backpacks can be a little too much. Rotate what you want to show your friends and keep the rest behind flat paneled doors so your space doesn't appear messy. The last fandom I'm going to design for you today is for the fantasy reader. Now, once again, this is a very broad genre, and there'll be a lot of crossover with design styles that work for Harry Potter and Disney. Cottagecore, dark academia, bright Victorian, colorful mid-century, all of these will pair with what I can only assume to be a very impressive collection of fantasy books that you might have. Again, in the spirit of showing you guys something new, I would like to show you my favorite idea, a mixture of Victorian design and mid-century design. On my Pinterest, I actually have this labeled under the style European mid-century. In Europe, they have paired more ornamental, historical design styles seen in their architecture with the more streamlined and intentional design brought forth with the Bauhaus movement. Their juxtaposition is something I personally find very visually interesting, and I personally have to say I love that it gives me a moment for, say, decor decadence while keeping other things more simple and organized. Now, you can do this as neutral or colorful as you would like. In a neutral space, I love the idea of a wallpaper like this that will transport you into a woodland fairy tale while remaining neutral. Now, I'm going to upset a lot of people with this next suggestion, but if you prefer to have more of a neutral space, you can flip your books that are a little bit more bright around on your shelves so that you are seeing the pages of your books. I know it's a really triggering thing for a lot of people, but just because this might be against your religion doesn't mean it's not an option. And remember that different opinions and diversity allows for more unique experiences in our world. So calm down and let's move on. You can definitely add more color into this design style, which will allow you to keep your colorful books on display. Adding color can be accomplished through the use of soft to bold paint colors, or through pops of colors in furniture, like this really fun green unit, or in my personal favorite addition, wallpaper. Just look at how these examples add a feeling of fantasy while introducing color to your space. It also somehow really pairs perfectly with both the mid-century and Victorian styles. It like marries them in my brain, very visually pleasing. Personally, I am going to be using a chinoiserie wallpaper like this inspiration. Really sorry if I butchered that name. Go ahead and tell me how bad I did in the comments. But I will be using this as inspiration for what I'm doing in my office, which you can see behind me. I really hope that it helps to create a mid-century and Victorian space. There are so many different design styles that pair with the fandoms that I've discussed today. I am very excited to expand on each one individually in my following videos. These will also include renderings and display actual merchandise that you can purchase for yourselves. If there was a specific fandom you would like me to talk more about, or even a room that you would like me to design based on your many fandoms, because let's just be honest, you probably belong to more than one, please comment it in the comments below. I would love to do a series all about helping individuals with their specific needs, even functionally on, say, how do I display my Legos? I will be also doing a vlog about my own personal fandom transformation for all of you to see. That video will also be on an extreme budget. It will also feature how I design for my own fandoms, which include fantasy book series, Harry Potter, Star Wars, and Disney all in one space. If you're interested in any of these projects, then make sure that you subscribe to my channel so that you can see those videos as I release them. I can't wait to show you more. I will see you in the next video.